guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ani Petrova and I'm the founder of AP Marketing Solutions, an online marketing consultancy based in London. As I promised in my previous video, today we're going to talk about how to start your own business and set up a consultancy in the UK. If you're planning to do so yourself and to become a freelancer or start your own thing, make sure you stay with me and watch the video till the end. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my second video here on YouTube, my second personal video here on YouTube, and as I promised last time, today we're going to talk about how to start your own business and set up your company in the UK. I'm going to talk about specifically how to do that in the UK because that's my personal experience. I'm currently based in London, but if you're having a business and you're based in another country, I'll be happy to hear your personal experience, so make sure you share that in the comments below. So let's start. I'm going to start from the very beginning. If you haven't watched my previous video where I talk about my personal story, make sure you do it. But very briefly, I'm just going to recap. At the end of my maternity, I decided to quit my corporate job and to start my own consultancy. So here today I'm going to talk about how I did that, and I'm going to give you some quick tips about the formality of registering a company and promoting and setting up your business in the beginning. So the first thing you have to do before you start your business is to decide the structure of the business, whether you're going to be a sole trader or a limited company. So there is a few, I think actually three main differences between the two business structures here in the UK. So sole trader, that's the simplest business structure. So there is no paperwork, there is no any specific requirements. Majority of the freelancers in the UK are actually sole traders, but the downside is that you carry your personal liability for the business. If anything happens while delivering your services and products, you're carrying the sole responsibility. So yeah, that's one of the main disadvantages of that structure. Also from tax perspective, it could be it wouldn't be that beneficial as running a limited company, because limited companies are subject to corporation tax, which is more favorable and lower than the personal income tax. So yeah, this is something you would also have to consider when registering your business. So that's the first thing. You have to decide what type of business you're going to set up and register, either a sole trader or a limited company. I personally chose to register a limited company. So how you do that, you just need to go to the government.com website. You just need to complete your details, and we come to the second step of the whole process of setting up your own business, is to decide on the name of the business. I chose to use my initials, so I named the company AP Marketing Solutions. AP stands for Ani Petrova. Not very creative, I know, but the whole business is based on my own experience and my background about myself, my personal brand, so I thought it would make sense at this stage to name it after myself. So that's why I chose AP Marketing Solutions. But yeah, you can choose any name as long as it's free to register. So after deciding on the structure, you have to decide on your name, and once you've chosen your name, you go to the website, the government website, you register your details, and that's it. It's very and you register the company. It's very straightforward. You just need to complete the form, and yeah, there might be a small tax to pay, but that's it. And you usually get approval within couple of days of you know, whether the company has been approved and registered. So there's one other thing that actually I forgot to mention about registering a limited company, is that you can benefit from VAT exemption. So if you register for VAT and you start charging your clients VAT, you can also claim it on all your purchases that you make for the business. So that's another benefit of having a limited company. So Next step, so once you've decided on the structure of the business, sole trader or limited company, and the name of the company, and you've registered, and then it comes the most important phase of the whole setup process, is to promote, and it's to promote your business and to let other people know about the existence of your company. So here we're going to talk about and I'm going to share with you a few tactics that you can use to start market and promote your business in the beginning. First step in promoting your business is definitely creating your online presence, because you know, nowadays everything is digital. In the digital world, you can't afford to not be present online. This is where everybody goes to look for solutions, so they go online, so you have to be there. Well, I understand that in the beginning you might depending on the nature of your consultancy and the business that you'll be doing, you might not need to have a website straight away, but one crucial thing is to have very informative and very well presented social media profiles. So I mean, LinkedIn is the most obvious for businesses, especially for B2B. But if you're B2C, it will be also really beneficial to have a Facebook account or an Instagram and a Twitter account. So I'd say the first step in promoting your business is to review your social media presence and update it, and make sure you've included all your existing projects, all your past experience, your background, and anything relevant that might be of interest to your prospects and to your clients. Second will be to create a website. As I said, this might not be necessary at the very beginning, but you know, having a website, having this online presence, specifically that company business presence, it's very important because it provides authority, it looks more professional, so you look like a real business. By the way, if you're creating websites, it will also be good to create your professional email address. Yeah, so once you've created your online presence and you've built the initial assets for your company, you need to start thinking for branding and how you're going to. So basically, branding is simply how you represent your company. So that's like colors, logo, imagery that you're going to use, fonts, type of language, and voice, tone of voice that you're going to use. So it might be worth sitting and thinking of how you would like to, your business to come across. So if you want it to be friendly and open, if you want it to be more very professional and conservative, if you want it to be very corporate, or if you want it to be a bit more funky and cheeky, and so you really have to think about the personality of your brand and how you want that brand to be represented. And once you've decided on that, you would have to look at the actual imagery representation. So picking up a color scheme, logo design. So I chose I decided that I want my business, because I'm targeting fintech professionals and businesses, which are still professional, is still in the finance world, so it has to be pretty serious and conservative, but at the same time it's also about technology, about new innovations, and people are about being techy, geeky, and a bit different. So I thought, so that's why I wanted to incorporate, and when I was choosing my colors and the logo and stuff, I wanted to incorporate both worlds. So I have the peachy color, which is very bright, and it's not very usual for the finance world. Usually you're gonna have in the corporate finance world the the standard colors are gray or blue, so that's why I also have the blue there in my color palette. So I incorporated coral, which is for new, funky, innovative, bright and friendly, with the traditional blue, which is more corporate. It stands more about finance and security, and so you have to think about those things. And then about the logo, to me again, it was I want something very simple, very professional looking. So that's why I chose the blog, and I thought about the slogan, and funnily, when I was actually looking at some imagery, you know, like related imageries that I can use for my website, I came across this picture of building blocks, and a person moving and putting together the building blocks, and I thought, that might be great actually, you know, to represent my business a great way. So, and that sentence about, you know, your missing block into achieving growth came, you know, to my mind. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm going to use this as a slogan, because most companies, most of my target audience and businesses that I'm targeting are, you know, they'll be at the stage where they don't use marketing at all, or they or they haven't heavily invested in marketing, and marketing is usually not a priority. So I thought, okay, and usually that's the missing block to generate growth, and usually marketing is the first thing. Once all those companies and startups, once they generate their first round of investments, they usually go after spending that money on marketing and promotions. So I thought that would be a great slogan, and I chose that one. And then it kind of gave the whole concept about my logo. So it's based on the square, and using the squares and blocks all around my my imagery. So once you've decided on the branding, you have to search for some imagery and assets that you can use for your website, and you know, for all your materials that you're going to produce and content in the future, you know, you're going to produce to promote your business. So for promotion, step number one, update your presence. Make sure you have a good online presence, and then second is think of your branding and how you're going to present yourself and the company. And step number three, after you've built all the assets, so you have your website, you have your company name, logo, you've registered the business, you're now official, legit business. Next step is to actually start telling the world about your business. And how you can do that? So nowadays there's so many channels, social media, you have radio, you know, the traditional channels, radio, TV, outdoor. You also have these digital channels, advertising. You know, where do you actually start from? Depending on the nature of your business, it really depends. You know, the channel and the tactic really depends on where your customers are. So the first thing, before you actually start promoting your business, you really need to sit down and understand where your customers are. You know, you have to think of your ideal customer, who they are, what they do, where they spend their time, so what type of media they use, what type of events they go to, what type of jobs they, you know, roles they hold, all these type of things. You know, you have to come up with a profile of your ideal client, and once you've built that ideal client, then you will know which are the best channels to use to reach them. So this might be LinkedIn, Twitter, if they use Twitter, or might not even be like online events. It might be personal events. You know, if you go to a forum or a conference. So yeah, you have to think of where your customers are and what's the best way to reach them. So in my case, what I did, I decided, I mean, for me, my target audience is B2B, financial and, you know, fintech entrepreneurs. So it made sense for me. The best channel was definitely LinkedIn, and I still believe that for B2B, that's probably the best channel out there to reach to prospects. So I decided I was going to do a campaign, a LinkedIn campaign, but instead of publishing, you know, start publishing advertisements and then just like random posts on LinkedIn about, hey, I have a new business, hey, you know, here's my website, go to my website, check out my services. Nowadays it's all about the value. Nobody's going to pay attention to you unless you provide any sort of value to them. So the best way to actually win new clients, to get your target audience attention, is to provide value for them. In my case, because you know, prior to starting my business I was working for a corporate, so I didn't have anything proprietary, you know, anything that I could share. I only had my background and my experience. So I decided that I was going to create a piece of content that's really interesting for my target audience, and that was going to be the way to actually launch, to get ideas about the actual topics and, you know, what my content should be. I searched online, you know, like different forums, different groups on LinkedIn. So I decided to look at 15 of the most successful fintech startups out there, and to look at the strategies that they used and tactics for launching and marketing their businesses in the beginning. Yeah, so I did a bit of research. I spent about 2 months you know, collecting all the data and information and doing my research, and then spending the time to write all the content. So at the end I created an ebook. So I chose an ebook format for my content. Yeah, so I created a 50-page ebook, including examples and real life stories from all those companies, and you know, about their strategies and the tactics that they've used. Yeah, so I wrote all the content, and then I used a software to create the design for my ebook. I decided that it was going to be an ebook so everyone can download it and read it on their own time, because, you know, it wasn't that long. It was about 50 pages, which was good, you know, not too short, not too long. You can use, yeah, any sort of software. If you have Office, you can use Microsoft Publishing, or even Word, and then convert it to PDF. Or if you are more advanced, then you have Illustrator or Adobe InDesign. You can use those to design and build the ebook. So instead of you know, promoting heavily and talking only about me and my business and why people should consider my business, my approach and message was, hey, you know what, I've spent some time to do this amazing research about all these successful companies out there, and I have a list of all their strategies and tactics that they've used to generate their clients and to increase their business. So here it is, download it. It's free. So I decided to provide this content for free. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So yeah, once I've created the content, I created different promotional materials, like social posts, social media posts on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, and I created a landing page with a gated landing page with a data capture form. So I was collecting emails. Here is actually another tactic that I used to generate more interest about my book. So first is that I used video, you know, especially native video on LinkedIn nowadays is one of the most effective tactics to use to promote your messages and all your content on social, so especially on LinkedIn. So I used, I created a short promotional video talking about my ebook and what was all about. So that's the first thing. Then the second is I created some imagery, some banners, and the other tactic that I used actually on LinkedIn is that instead of sending people directly to a landing page to generate, that's actually one of the most popular and annoying, but it actually works, you know, growth tactics, tricks, or hack. growth hack is to ask people to comment in order to get the copy and the piece of content, and it actually worked because it creates engagement, and for LinkedIn to rank it higher in the feed and to appear to a bigger audience. So that's a really good tactic that you can use. That's what I used for my first post. I included the so I posted the video and I mentioned to the people that if they wanted a copy of the ebook, they had to comment, and I sent them the copy. The good thing about having a long form of content like that is that you can repurpose. You can then create like blog posts, you know, other videos, and all sorts of like micro content. So yeah, that's how I generated more than 1,000 people and created a contact list, a mailing list. That's one of the, and I think the best way to you know, to launch your business is to get people talking. Is you have to really provide something valuable before you and build relationships before with your prospect audience before you actually start hard selling and promoting your services. So in the beginning, when you're establishing a connection, it should always be about your target audience, and then it's about you and your services and your business. So here these are my tips of how to start your own consultancy and to promote it. In my next video, I'm going to talk more about how and where to find clients. So stay tuned, and please let me know in the comments below if you liked this video, if you found it useful, if you have any further questions. I'll be more than happy to discuss those. And also please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'll be aiming to produce one of these videos on a bi-weekly basis. So yeah, stay tuned. See you soon. Bye.